What's up guys, I'm GamerMD83 and welcome to episode 7 of Mass Effect Talks. Today's episode is going to be pretty interesting. I'm not going to focus on one topic per se, just because I've been looking a lot online and I've been finding a bunch of questions that people have about Mass Effect 3, which is, it's understandable because I think we all have a lot of questions for Mass Effect 3. So I thought I should get a bunch of those questions and just try to answer them. Of course, some of these I'm just speculating, but I do want to get my thoughts out there when it comes to these questions because they're pretty good questions, and I'm sure it's questions that a lot of us have. Now I'm gonna put questions that I found online, but I'm also gonna put in some questions that people have asked me. So it's gonna be a mix of everything. Let's get this started. Yes, Miranda will be in Mass Effect 3. Casey Hudson said that everybody that was important, all the characters that were important in Mass Effect, and Miranda's one of them, right, will be making some kind of appearance. Now, Miranda, I've said this in other videos, I don't think Miranda is going to be a permanent squad member. I think Miranda is going to be more of like a go-to person, outside of your squad. I think she's going to be maybe your eyes and ears for Cerberus, indoctrinated Cerberus, or maybe some kind of intel person. And if you did have a romance with her in Mass Effect 2, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to continue that romance in Mass Effect 3. But I believe it's going to be one of those out-of-party romances that Casey Hudson said that you will be able to have in Mass Effect 3. Let me just answer the crew, why the crew don't get indoctrinated by Reaper relics or presence. Because a lot, not just Shepard has been in the presence of Reapers, but also his crew, and they've even been on a dead Reaper. And just because it's a dead Reaper doesn't mean that it can't indoctrinate people, because the crew that was actually on the derelict Reaper in Mass Effect 2 were indoctrinated, just because they were on that Reaper for so long. And that's the reason why they don't get indoctrinated, because in order to get indoctrinated, you need to be in the presence of that Reaper whatever for a long time. So if Shepard's crew had been on the derelict Reaper for a long time, they probably would have been indoctrinated. But since they weren't, they didn't get any symptoms. Now, when it comes to Shepard, I think it's the same reason. Also, he hasn't been in contact with a relic, like an arrival. He wasn't with the relic, the Reaper relic, for very long. So he wasn't directly indoctrinated because of that, but also because Mass Effect has been talking so much about him being a strong-minded person, and strong-minded people it's harder to indoctrinate them. I don't know if you guys remember Wilson, but for those of you that don't remember Wilson, think back to the beginning of Mass Effect 2. Do you remember that guy that Miranda ended up killing? Supposedly he had been the one that had activated I was about to say droids, that activated the robots in the base, and they started to attack. And that's why Miranda killed him, because she said that he had betrayed them. Now, a lot of people have also asked me, especially when it comes to my Elusive Man Mass Effect talks, is how come if the Elusive Man was indoctrinated when they were bringing back Shepard, and they put Reaper technology in Shepard, then how come Miranda doesn't know this? Because Miranda pretty much seems to be on your side. I mean, I don't think Miranda is in any way betraying you. I think she truly is on your side. And I don't think Miranda is indoctrinated. So the question is, well then how did Miranda not know that they were putting Reaper technology on him? And I think that's where Wilson comes into play. There's a few things that could have been going on with Wilson. One of those is maybe Wilson was indoctrinated, and he was the one that put the Reaper technology into Shepard, and that's why he was like all crazy. Now, another thing is, yeah, he did put the Reaper technology into Shepard, but what if he wasn't indoctrinated and he started to think that this was all a bad idea? Like, what if he was like, oh shoot, this is wrong, like Shepard is just gonna kill us all, and he thought he wanted to put an end to it. Like, what if Wilson really wasn't betraying them? What if Wilson was doing something to stop Shepard from doing something later on? Maybe the consequences to Mass Effect 3. Because you would think, okay, well, if Wilson was doing the elusive man's bidding, then how come that he activated the robots to kill everybody? You know, if he was indoctrinated, then why would he do that? Why would he put Shepard at risk? What if he rebelled against the elusive man? I'm thinking the elusive man was indoctrinated, but what if Wilson wasn't? He was just doing the bidding of the elusive man, and then he started to like rebel. Like he was like, wait a minute, this is wrong. So he tried to put an end to it, and maybe the elusive man told Miranda, you know, kill him because he's betrayed us. And Miranda didn't even know what was going on because she wasn't aware of the Reaper technology, maybe. So she just ended up killing Wilson when he was actually trying to, put a stop to it. Now, this is all speculation. I just started to wonder, at first I was like, well, Wilson's indoctrinated. But then I was like, well, why would he put such a huge project into jeopardy if he was indoctrinated? When losing Shepard was just not an option. This is a good question. I don't think any of us could really know. But I think Shepard is more cyborg than organic. Obviously, his whole outside physique is organic. But when it comes to his insides, I mean, if you remember, Jacob said in the beginning of Mass Effect 2 that he was like a pile of meat, like a bag of meat. You couldn't even identify him, that it was him. I mean, and if you've read the comic Revelation, with Liara, where they're trying to get Shepard's body, the same thing. They're like, are you sure this is him? And because they couldn't even identify him because of how bad he looked. So I think a lot of him is cyborg on the inside. On the outside, I think it's just, fake skin and or maybe transplanted skin from other people and stuff like that. But his insides, I think, is a lot of machine. Now, the next question that's tied to this is, why hasn't Shepard asked any questions or done any investigations when it comes to this? And will he in Mass Effect 3? I really hope he does. I hope he starts questioning what was done to him in Mass Effect 3. Because he didn't even think about it in Mass Effect 2. He was just like, okay, well, cool, I'm back. That's all good. But he was like, what the hell did you do to me? Miranda just says, with some added whatever she says, they kind of like added some stuff to him, and he's just like, okay, cool, like, what the hell? I would be like, what? I would have gone to Chakwas and like told her to do a full body scan and like tell me what the hell they did and what the hell was in me. So I'm hoping that they do go over that in Mass Effect 3, because I don't think there's a way to answer that, because they didn't even go into it in Mass Effect 2. I think Shepard can heal a lot faster than normal humans. And this could be because of what Cerberus did to him. It could also be a reaction to his possible Reaper technology that's in him. If you guys haven't read the novels, I've gone over this a few times, but the character Paul Grayson, he was implanted with Reaper technology, and he healed, like, fast. Drugs didn't really last on him. He could get shot and like heal very fast. And this was because of the Reaper technology that was in him. And I think this is the case for Shepard. I think that's why, if you remember in the Arrival downloadable content, when they were all surprised that Shepard came back so fast after they had drugged him, they had been drugging him for days, and then they were like, oh my god, he's out of it, and they were kind of surprised because they were like, he's not supposed to wake up right now. And I think it's because of the way he adapts. He adapts faster to certain stuff, and I guess when it comes to drugs, he could adapt to it, and maybe become immune. And also when it comes to his injuries, I mean, he was freaking dead, and he, all of a sudden, after Cerberus fixes him up, he starts to heal like faster. I think that it's because of the Reaper technology that he has, that it just makes him heal a lot faster. Remember in Mass Effect 2 when Miranda and Jacob and Shepard were in the ship? They had just, this was in the beginning, when they had just left the base that had been attacked. Miranda said that they needed to do like weeks or months of psychological set testing on Shepard before they actually, let Shepard go and be Shepard, just to make sure that everything had gone okay. They didn't do that. Weeks to months turned into a few, like, what, 2 minutes of just a few, like, two questions. Is he okay? Is he psychologically okay? Is this gonna start manifesting in Mass Effect 3? Could he start reacting to what happened to him? How? I think it is going to start manifesting in Mass Effect 3. I think Mass Effect 3 is going to be... Now, I'm going to get a little bit into literary elements. When it comes to a writer's point of view, what makes a story very interesting is not only conflict between a person and something else. In Mass Effect, it's what's called man versus, you could do it either versus machine or versus like monster. Mass Effect has a lot, and I think Mass Effect 3 is going to incorporate it even more, and this always makes a story conflict so much more interesting, is when it's man versus self. And what man versus self is exactly what it says, is you versus yourself, like some kind of internal fight. And this is usually put into storylines that already have a conflict. In this case, humanity versus the Reapers. So I think that's what Mass Effect 3 is going to do a lot of, is Shepard versus himself. He's going to be battling the after effects of what happened to him, maybe some kind of psychological things, and a little clue is that you remember the boy in that demo? I think it was the second demo that they did, where you're with Anderson, and Anderson's on your party on Earth, and the Reapers are attacking. Remember that boy in the vents? Someone asked Casey Hudson about that boy, and Casey Hudson, I don't remember exactly what he said, the actual words, but he was basically saying that boy has more to do with the storyline than you actually think. Like, he's actually important. Like, something is going on with that boy. And I was like, well, he's probably not going to be a character, because I don't think he's going to be some kind of, like, squad member or main character. So I was thinking, what if, and a lot of people have been speculating this a while back, was what if that boy is just an imagination, like part of Shepard's imagination? Like, what if he's not there? And I thought, I think he is. I think he is an illusion, like, of Shepard. I think he's having some kind of either symptoms of what had happened to him, bringing him back to life and all that. They're finally manifesting psychologically in Mass Effect 3. Could be some kind of Reaper indoctrination symptoms where he's imagining things, he's seeing things. And I was thinking, what if that little boy is Shepard, or when he was a kid, or something like that, you know what I mean? Like some kind of figment of Shepard's imagination. Because then when Shepard just looks like that and then he turns back around, the kid's gone. So it makes you wonder. It's like, wait a minute, was that even real? So I think something's going on psychologically with Shepard. It's either some kind of consequence to the Reaper technology that he has, maybe possible first symptoms of indoctrination, or maybe it's what Miranda was talking about, this whole psychological thing, to what they did to him, like bringing him back to life. What if he's starting to have these psychological hiccups?